hello there, and welcome to the Wisdom Gifts Authors Podcast Extravaganza. All the good things. I am excited, and you're going to see why I'm excited in just a moment. I'm about to interview Teri Donelson, one of the authors of the Wisdom Gifts Book 2. And I'm so excited to talk to her, not only because she's accomplished and amazing, because her jam is vision. And so we're going to talk about vision and purpose today. Hello, Teri. Welcome.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
I'm good, and I really am excited to talk to you because when we first met and we first started talking about you and your chapter and all the things that you're doing, you really are just so clear about vision. So let's talk about you. I know you're a coach and you're a speaker and you have coaching programs for women around purpose and vision. So let's talk about maybe just how you found your purpose and vision. Maybe we start there.
Okay, excuse me. So I really stumbled upon my organized purpose, right? So I think sometimes we don't realize that we're being prepared for our purpose. And so I'm from a small town, and my mom's purpose for me was to graduate, go to college, get a good job, get married, stay on that job till I retired. And that's the secret to success. But somewhere along the way, I lost myself. And with losing myself came depression, came a lot of different things where I ended up gaining more weight than I should have. And I'm a country girl, so we like to eat, and we were heavy set overweight people, but I ended up getting to about 283 pounds, and I'm only 5'3.5". So when the doctor told me, Miss Horn at the time, you are morbidly obese, it definitely took me to a place of what in the world. That is not a cute term anymore. You know, when you're overweight, you fluffy, you thick girl, you know, all this other cute stuff. But when someone tells you you're morbidly obese and that you're killing yourself slowly, it kind of shock you into a place. And so a lot of things were going on wrong in my life, but the only thing I could control was my weight and my wellness, my physical wellness. So I focused on that. And in doing that, I found my purpose, which was in the fitness wellness arena that took me to my other purpose of coaching. So that's around the roundabout way of a shorter version of
Right.
how I got there.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And, something that you said that was so powerful that I really want to, really focus on is a lot of times we have parents or family or mentors who have a purpose or vision for us. And you were willing to go and take that on because it would have made her happy, would have made the family happy, it would have been a great life. But things happened for you, challenges happened in your life that you found yourself in a new place and a new purpose. And so how did it feel to discover this for yourself and to take, listen, I've had my weight journey too, so I understand it. It takes courage, I think. It takes belief in yourself. And how did it feel when you stepped into that purpose of getting yourself healthy? How did that feel when you discovered that purpose for yourself?
It was absolutely amazing when you first start to realize you can do this. And I tell people all the time, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because it is hard. This wellness journey is not easy, and people lose weight all the time. And it's such a debate about, well, how does she lose weight? Did she have surgery? Did she get the shots? I don't care how people lose weight because people need different things to lose weight. The true question is, how do I keep it? And that's where the mindset happened, because even when I was on my journey, Kim, with my wellness and weight loss, it was a time where I was very unhealthy with my journey of getting smaller, because my mindset was on losing weight and getting smaller versus becoming healthy and being healthy physically and mentally. Once that clicked for me, that's when things changed for me, and I was able to maintain a healthy weight because it was about being healthy physically and mentally.
So what I'm hearing there is a clarity of vision. So not just going for a goal, but to be very fine tuned with what the vision and what the real goal is, right?
Absolutely.
Now you're getting well, you're getting healthy, and then another part of your purpose shows up, which I loved hearing this part of your story where you were, I believe you were working out
Mhm.
and you met this trainer, and then what happened?
So once I lost some weight, the next step that everyone tells you is to go find a trainer so you can, whatever. And so I met this guy named Philip Wheaton, and Phil had a gym in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and it was a very popular gym. But there was a place where his step instructor quit. And I don't know if you remember step, but step was very difficult. And like I said, I come from a background of, bottom heavy people getting on that step, doing all that other stuff and flipping and turning. I thought it was a ridiculous idea. Okay. And so he had a way of just making things fun, fitness fun. And I'm one of eight. My sisters, none of them really work out a lot because they have that fear of people judging them at the gym. And Phil was a type of trainer that made you want to work out. And he didn't discriminate. If you were, 100 pounds, 500 pounds, everybody was doing 100 knees. So I really enjoyed working out with him and doing that process of him starting, because he is the creator of Extreme, of the format. He started doing this, just playing around on the step. And thought it became fun, and you burn like 1,000 calories and didn't even realize it because the music was driving you, the steps were, anybody could do it. And so at that point I still didn't know my purpose quite yet, and I was just telling Phil, you got something here, you are special, people really gravitate to you. And he was very much in his own headspace. And he was like, no, I ain't doing nothing. Hey, I don't want to do nothing but stay right here. Like, that's my impersonation of Phil's voice. And so I was like, well, fine, but you should let people see you. So I'll create a YouTube page for you. And that's how our relationship started with Hey T, Hey T. We eventually would talk and become friends about his struggles, my family, his family. And I asked him like a serious question one day, was like, why don't you want to get, like, people are asking you to do this for them? And he was like, I'm just comfortable where I am. And I said, well, if you don't do this, because at that time I wasn't using the term purpose. I said, but if you don't use your voice and use your talents field, people like me would never experience it. I would never have gotten my love for fitness if you don't, do this on a broader scale. People need you. At the time, I didn't realize I was telling him what I teach my clients now, is that if you don't step into your assignment, the next person can't receive it. Like, we all have to do our part on this earth. We all have a piece of the puzzle. And if you don't step into it, how can I be served? And we all have to do that. And so in the meantime, in between time, I helped Phil start the business. We came up with the name Extreme. We started the business. We started traveling. Eventually, we did a certification program, which he didn't want to do that either. But I said, okay. And I just started working on creating the format, the certification program, getting all the accreditations. And when he said he was ready, he said, "Hey T, I think it's time to start training." And I said, "Cool. What weekend you want to do it?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I already got everything together. I was just waiting for you to catch up." So that's how we started Extreme, and we've been doing this now for 10 years, and it's 4,500 instructors worldwide. We're on 5 continents, 18 countries, and in 47 states.
All right. I just want to stop for just a moment and just acknowledge you and acknowledge anyone who's listening, that there are people in your world who see a vision bigger than you. And so you got to be a blessing to not only Phil, but to those 4,500 trainers and the thousands of people, the hundreds of thousands of people that they get to train. And so I want to acknowledge you for having that big vision and acknowledge you for stepping in and coaching someone to greatness. What you said was so key. You said, and when he was ready, because you pushed him, and then you're like, are you ready now? And so I just want anyone who's listening to go, sometimes your purpose involves, well, I actually think that your purpose is about unlocking other people's vision and purpose too. And so what does it take for you to be open enough to hold the vision for someone else? Because that also takes, so I said courage before to get well. And now I'm going to say generosity of heart to see the bigger picture. What does it take for you to tap into that so that you can help other people help other people?
Right. I think that God just gives everyone their own gifts. And I've always been a person that enjoy seeing other people win. I think that's coming from a big family. I just enjoy seeing other people win. And if I can do things to help someone get there, then that's great. But where I differ now is instead of me trying to help everybody win in everything, I've learned how to hone in on my skills and my talents and how I can help people. I can't help someone write a book. That's not my jam. That's not, I think that's your word. That's not my jam at all. That is that's somebody else's gifts and talents. So I think that the key for me was understanding myself, and understanding where my strength lies, and what my passion was. And that's about finding yourself, and that takes work. It's not easy. And I know in the book Gifts too that we do, I talk about overcoming the fears in order to get to that real place inside of you so that you can move forward. And it takes becoming authentic and getting real with yourself before you can help anybody else.
So, for someone listening right now, is there something you can share with us that will help us overcome that fear? Because it seems like a big thing. Step into my purpose, and then I do this, and then I got to look at myself. Is there one nugget that you'd like to give us today that will help us just move us a little bit further on that path?
So it is scary. Change is scary. But the one thing I would say is that to understand that, one, you're not alone. Like this journey of life, like everybody's going through the same type of stuff in different ways. But change is such a thing that the change doesn't happen when we're comfortable. It happens when you get uncomfortable. So I would say be okay with being uncomfortable and don't allow fear to stop you. Fear shouldn't be, and that's what I had to learn, that fear couldn't paralyze me. Either you're going to let it paralyze you, or you're going to allow it to propel you forward. You're going to use some tools that is going to motivate you to come out of that space of being scared and being afraid, and to move forward. But it all starts with your mindset. It really does. And I would say that's the first step you have to do. And I'm, like I said, I'm a country girl. So when you get ready to plant seeds, you have to toil the soil. You have to pull up the weeds. You have to get down and dirty. And that's the same thing you have to do in your own life. You have to get down and dirty. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to figure out those things that's keeping you afraid and fearful for taking that chance, that chance, or making that pivot, or stepping completely outside of your box. Like I was 283 pounds. Who would think that I would be a fitness expert? You have to not be. People come to me for fitness advice, and I'm like, I'm not a trainer. I can connect you with some people, but no, it's not me. But it definitely is. You have to be okay with the change and the uncomfortableness, and use fear. Don't let it paralyze you.
You know, you use the acronym FEARS, and I know that that's one of the things you talk about in the book. You have a whole program that you've created around fears. And I do know that it comes up for everyone. And somehow it's comforting to know that, you know, listen, we see the pretty pictures on Instagram and the snappy jams and the Insta faces or whatever they're doing right now. But to know the truth of it is that we all have to overcome the same things and have to, you know, adjust our mindset and go through challenges and dig in the dirt sometimes.
Yeah.
So, you know, how do we how do we embrace it sounds like to me that we have no choice but to embrace the fear because you're going to feel it anyway, right? How do we tap into that inner voice that's inside of us? Because I don't think that you even begin going for this unless there's a little voice that's inside of you and then the fear comes up. So how do we tap into that little voice and make the voice louder than the fear? Maybe that's the question I'm asking.
Yeah, it's a learned behavior.
Okay.
Just like anything else, you have to practice talking to your negative Nelly and letting them know that that's a lie. I'm just not going to buy into your lies this time. I'm not. That's something that society is telling me. I'm too old, I'm too fat, I don't have enough education, I have too much education. Like, you have to start talking back to yourself, and sometimes that's the best staff meetings, when you're able to talk to yourself. But you have to learn how um, to talk it back down when it comes to that. So that's a learned behavior. And so I'll talk a little bit about my fear acronym. And the first thing is that you have to have a focus. So I'm really big on vision, because if you have a vision and you happen to get distracted, or roadblocks come, or those negative lies, get there, if you have that vision, that focus, then you can always pivot back. So if I go off the rail, I can always come back because I know what my vision is. But if you don't have a vision, then when you get off, you don't know where you're going. So the first thing you have to do is have that plan and have your focus and your vision already lined up. And then always, with the evaluate these feelings that you're having. Is it feelings based in truth, or is it lies? Like, does somebody else tell you couldn't do it? They just tell me all the time, you talk too much and you're bossy. And now I make my money talking a lot and bossing people around. Like, you have to know how to deal with your, you know what I'm saying? You have to learn how to deal with your skills. Don't let people tell you what you shouldn't and can't do. So evaluate all the times. I'm always evaluating what's going on in my life, the people in my life. And Kim, to your point, those voices and things that are coming to you, that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people that can say, girl, why are you tripping? Like, why you are great, you're awesome, and call you on your stuff. Like, you're just procrastinating, you're being lazy. Like, you told me you want to do this a year ago, why haven't you? You need those people around you. So evaluate people in your life. Like, always stay evaluating so that you can take action and adjust. So that's your A. You want to be able to adjust once you take those actions. Just don't sit on it. You have to take action to the evaluations and the adjustments that you need. And then after that, seek help, seek guidance. One of the things I did when I was trying to lose weight is I didn't just use exercise. I went and got a therapist. Like, it was things going on in my life that could help me overcome my wanting to grab food every time I was sad, or even celebrate with food. Like, why am I doing that? And I had to get down and dirty in the soil and figure out I had some other issues. So don't just rely on yourself, and know, that you're not by yourself. Like, other people are experiencing this, but isolation is just an enemy. It really is.
Did you mention the R? Did I miss the R?
Did I
So
forget the
focus,
R? I
focus,
focus.
action. What's the R?
You know what? Is it reset? It may be reset. I don't know. I have a few little acronyms, but it may be reset. I'm gonna have to go back and figure out what my R is.
So
But
what
I
is
really think it's reflect on the issues that after you do your take action, and then reflect on what you have done, because then you may need to pivot back. So it is reflect.
it's reflect? Reflect. That
I was
sounds,
moving too quick. I was moving too quick, Kim.
because you get excited about this, and there's something
I
so
do.
special when people lock into their purpose, lock into their passion. I know that you coach women. You have, a year-long event, a yearly event that you do. You have coaching programs, and so you can always see the light on someone when they're in their purpose. And so I love that you were going fast and talking us through it, because you know it, you've lived it yourself. And something you said, that two things you just said that I'm going to have to borrow or use, and I'll give you give you accreditation, give you credit. Two things: that it's a learned behavior. So this kind of work is learned. I think sometimes we're hard on ourselves, like, "Why, I know this, how come I don't know this, how come I don't do this?" We have to learn how to do it, and like you said, practice and practice. And that, to me, gives someone permission to mess it up, figure it out again, come to the next place, figure out the same. So that's really I don't know, just freeing to me, to go, all you have to do is learn it, right?
Yeah.
And then do it. And then the other thing, that staff meeting, woo, that's good. Take a staff meeting with yourself. That's good.
I love them. They're good meetings.
They're good meetings. How often does Teri have a staff meeting with herself?
I really do it every day. I do at the end of every day, I write down what went well in my day. And it's more of a gratitude. But I got that from actually Tony. What's the tall guy? Is it Tony Robbins? I get him confused. Tony Evans. There's so many Tonys, but he's, you know who I'm talking about?
Tony Robbins, Tony.
I think it's Tony Robbins, the real tall guy who was on Shallow Hal, the real tall guy. But he said that every day, and he started this a long time ago, but he would write down three things, no matter how big, how small, but three things that he was grateful for that day. And I started doing that just because I feel like we get so bogged down in things that didn't work well that day. But if I end the day with just, I didn't kill nobody. I didn't curse nobody. Like, I really controlled my emotions today because, I can't control anybody else's actions, but I can control my own actions and my reactions. So I try to have evaluation with myself and give myself grace. I know you said that it was freeing for you, but I always tell, especially women, to give yourself grace because we're so hard on yourself. Would you tell your good girlfriend, that you're terrible, you can't do anything right, this will never work out for you? Would you do that? So you wouldn't. So give yourself just as much grace as you give everybody else. So I try to have those meetings with myself, especially I have a 15-year-old child. So I got to have staff meetings all the time so that she can make it to 16. So y'all keep me on your prayer list because that teenager right there is my mini me in so many ways. But yes, I have them often. I have them often.
I love that. And, thank you for the reminder of that gratitude practice. I used to do that too. I would do 3 to 5 things every day I was grateful for. And I need to get back to that practice. So thank you for that reminder. It's alignment, it's connection to spirit or to God or source or however you language it. And it just is a really nice default position to step into. So wonderful, wonderful. And then, so now you've had a vision for yourself, had a vision to create this you know, country, multi-person event that's still, I'm sorry, brand really,
Yes,
that
it's a
has grown
creation.
and continued to growing. And now you took those gifts and talents and abilities and now you apply that in your coaching of women to help them find their vision and their purpose and their passion. And, what's one of your, I would say, favorite outcomes that you've seen your clients have? That once they get that focus and that vision in place, like what are some of the fruits of that labor that you've seen happen in your work?
So I've had quite a few. I'm blessed to be able to have quite a few. And I will say that even me getting to this was a journey because I didn't want to, like, literally I was pushed into this line of work. I was going to be satisfied just working with Phil. We were traveling, having a good time, and a guy kept saying bigger, bigger, bigger. And I realized as much as I loved Phil and he was very selfish, that my people were women. And it was because so many women, we're raised to just become good at stuff. Like, we are some people that are, we can figure some stuff out and we just become good at stuff. And we don't do what we love. We don't do what is passionate to us. We are working out of necessity or survival. And so my people are women who are kind of locked into this world where they're just on autopilot and they're just existing. And so when God kept saying bigger to me, at the same time, I had people saying, can you show me what you did with Phil? Can you do this? Can you come speak to my organization? I'm like, I'm not a speaker. I'm not a coach. I'm not a this. And the pandemic happened. And I feel like as much as it was devastating to so many lives and it was devastating with deaths and things like that, I feel like collectively the world prayed for 2020 vision. And God said, gotcha. Everybody sit down, reset, and figure out what's going on in your life. And that's exactly what he did for me and a ton of other people. And while I was at home and I didn't have to spend as much time with Extreme, I said, how can I serve? It was like four women who just kept on, just nagging. And I was like, how can I serve them? And they really pushed me into my purpose by making me face the fact that I was scared to put my name behind an organization or program. I was good pushing you and forming your baby and And if it failed, your name is on it, but I wasn't ready. And so Ashley probably is my favorite client because she had it figured out what she was going to do. She knew what she was going to do, but we don't start with the business. We start with the mindset. And is this truly your purpose? And is this truly your assignment? Do you really love it? Or do you think you can just make money from it? And by us doing that, Ashley now is not doing anything that she originally told me she was going to do. She is business owner where she has a chain of laundromats. I think that's what they call them up north. We call them washer terriers. They call them laundromats. And she now is a successful, and that's what she does. And she enjoys that and she loves it. She loves the customer service of it. But she's probably one of my, because it's so north and south than what she really said she wanted to do. But because she sat down and thought about what she loves to do, what she was passionate about, what she was good at, it took her to another direction. And I just love it. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. There's so many nuggets in everything that you say. And I love that, you get to be a part of this. I love that you're a part of the Wisdom Gifts book. I love your voice and I love your vision and your passion for vision and the reminder that we need to have a staff meeting and have that focus that has to come first. And then at the same time, you have your own book that's fitting to come out. Do you say fitting or fixing?
Fixing to come out. Fixing.
To come out. That also has that extreme branding. So talk about the extreme, your new book coming out.
It is called Extreme Vision. And I didn't even want to use extreme in the title, but everyone was like, Teri, you're extreme. Like there's no extreme without you. But I'm so wanting to promote everyone else that I was like, no, that's his baby. And they're like, it wouldn't. And he said, it wouldn't be a baby without you. And so Extreme Vision is just about, your vision needs to be extreme. If it's not extreme, if it doesn't scare you just a little bit, it's not big enough. And having an extreme vision means that you really are doing something that's not going to just impact your pockets, but is making an impact on the world. And so my book is a memoir meets a guideline, pretty much a roadmap for women who can't get to me. We can't connect on the coaching level, or you may, that's not in your budget. Just to be real, it's not in your budget at the time. But Extreme Vision is a way where you can have a piece of me that I'm helping you at least get some groundwork. It's not only my personal stories on what I've done, but it has reflective questions in there for you to start thinking, as well as action steps for you to start moving. I'm about action. You can't have just a vision. You have to have strategic action steps, or it's just a dream. And many people go to the grave with their dreams because they don't have action steps behind it. So vision is definitely is my baby, and it's taken a while to birth. It is actually dropping the same time as my birthday, September 12th. And I'm going to release my baby the same time. And it's a very vulnerable place. And I know you know, because you're an author as well, Kim, so you understand the vulnerability to really open up. I mean, I talk a lot about myself, but I really had to become vulnerable to do this, where at the point I was like, I'm not ready to launch it yet. There's a comma where there should be a colon. And she was like, girl, if you don't, Don, she said, if you don't release this book, it's never going to be perfect with those type of things. But if you don't release this book, so that's Extreme Vision.
As I know that done is better than perfect. And with your track record of putting your ideas and your vision out into the world, I know that so many people will be affected, whether or not you think that it's perfect. It is perfect. It is perfect enough. And, I'm excited for it. I'm excited because you've listened to yourself, you've listened to divine guidance, and thousands have already been affected. Who knows how many more to come? So thank you so much for saying yes to Wisdom Gifts and sharing a little bit of that extreme philosophy. And I think everybody should have a staff meeting with themselves tonight. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you, Miss Teri. I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wasn't that a great talk with Teri Donelson? Listen, I got so many nuggets. I got a reminder to stay on my vision, to stay focused, to stay ready, to get in action, and have a staff meeting with myself every day. Are you going to have a staff meeting with yourself every day? You should. You're the CEO, you're the CFO, and you're the one in charge of your life, that is. Staff meetings for you. Thanks, Teri Donelson. I'm going to do that for sure. I hope you do too. Thank you.